Brought to you by Penguin. A History of Loneliness by John Boyne. Read by Owen Mcdonnell. In the words of E.M. Forster, life is easy to chronicle, but bewildering to practice. Chapter 1, 2001. I did not become ashamed of being Irish until I was well into the middle years of my life. I might start with the evening that I showed up at my sister's home for dinner, and she had no recollection of issuing the invitation. I believe that was the night that she first showed signs of losing her mind. Earlier that day, George W. Bush had been inaugurated as President of the United States for the first time, and when I arrived at Hannah's house on the Grange Road in Rathfarnham, she was glued to the television, watching highlights of the ceremony which had taken place in Washington around lunchtime. It had been almost a year since I had last been there, and it shamed me to think that after an initial flurry of visits in the wake of Christian's death, I had settled into my old ways of making only an occasional phone call or organising an even more occasional lunch in Bewley's Cafe on Grafton Street, a place that reminded us both of childhood, for it was here that Mam would take us for a treat when we came into town to see the Christmas window at Switzer's all those years ago. And it was here that we ate lunches of sausages, beans and chips when we were brought into Cleary's to be fitted for our first communion clothes. Exhilarating afternoons when she would let us order the biggest cream cake we could find and a Fanta orange to wash it down. We would take the 48A bus from outside Dundrum Church into the city centre, and Hannah and I would run upstairs to the front seats, holding onto the bar in front of us as the bus made its way through Milltown and Ranelagh, over the hump of the Charlemont Bridge in the direction of the old Metropole Cinema behind Tara Street Station, where once we'd been brought to see Mutiny on the Bounty with Marlon Brando and Trevor Howard, and been dragged out again when the bare-breasted women of Otaheite made their way in kayaks towards the lusty sailors, garlands of flowers around their necks the only protection for their modesty. Mam had written a letter to the evening press later that night, demanding that the film be banned. "Is this a Catholic country?" she asked, "or is it not?" Bewley's has not changed very much in the 35 years since then, and I have always felt a great affection for it. I am a man for nostalgia. It is a curse on me sometimes. The comfort of my childhood returns to me when I see the high-back boots that still cater for all types of Dubliner. The retired gentleman, white-haired and clean-shaven, old-spiced, shrouded in their unnecessary suits and ties as they read the business section of the Irish Times, even though it no longer has any relevance to their lives. The married women enjoying the indulgence of a mid-morning cup of coffee with no one but wonderful Maeve for company. The students from Trinity College, lounging around over big mugs of coffee and sausage rolls, noisy and tactile, blooming with the excitement of being young and in each other's company. A few unfortunates, down in their luck, willing to trade the price of a cup of tea for an hour or two of warmth. The city has always drawn the benefit of Bewley's indiscriminate hospitality, and occasionally Hannah and I would partake of it. A middle-aged man and his widowed sister, neatly attired, careful of conversation, still with a taste for a cream cake, but no stomach for the Fanta anymore. Hannah had phoned to invite me over a few days earlier, and I had immediately said yes. Was she lonely, I wondered? Her eldest son, my nephew Aidan, was away on the sights in London and almost never came home. His phone calls, I knew, were even less regular than my own. But then he was a difficult man. One day, without warning, he had turned from being a cheerful and extrovert boy, something of a precocious entertainer, to a distant and angry presence in Hannah and Christian's house, and that fury, which seemed to arrive without warning to poison the blood of his veins, never diminished through his teenage years, only building and swelling and destroying everything it came in contact with. Tall and well-built, his Nordic ancestry providing him with clear skin and blonde hair, he could charm the ladies with barely a flicker of an eyebrow, and he had a taste for them that seemed impossible to satisfy. It is true that he got one poor girl into trouble when the pair of them were not even old enough to drive, and there was war over it for a time. In the end, the child was given up for...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?